Making model railways and airfix kits, you're kind of like making stuff all the time, and you know it comes from somewhere. And it was interesting, to find out how an airfix kit was made and stuff like that. And I've just been fascinated by the amazing engineering feats that we did back in the Industrial Revolution. It was always my favourite bit of history at school was understanding, how. In a very short period of time, we went from a largely agrarian society to a really industrialised society. But I'd always been interested in, loco works because of my interest in railways. So I guess, that was always a fascination. I'm kind of interested in this as a set of techniques to make things on demand effectively and reduce wastage and stuff like that. But in particular, there's one property around 3D printing which I find quite amazing, which is that the same file can make something that size or something that size. And that's something you can't do with injection moulding, without making lots and lots of tools. Whereas actually with a 3D file, you just resize it and hit print again. It goes, as long as you don't hit the limitations of the printer. So I think that for me is its key property. Everyone talks about personalisation and customization, but for me it's just the fact that I go teeny tiny one, and that feels quite amazing because it's the difference between doing things at different sizes or not. I think we all need to just pester government. I think that's the thing. I think for too long it's just been felt that that's just the way we do things, and I think that's a really defeatist attitude. And I think we need to, as citizens, go and challenge government about that sort of stuff and say, well, actually no, we used to make things here, why don't we make things here? And youth unemployment is a really terrible blight, and I think actually if we could do something to bring manufacturing back, teach ourselves new skills, whatever, we could actually work our way out of this. But I think making physical things is it. I mean, there are only so many web businesses you can make, and they can only employ a certain number of people. I mean, I don't think I'm going to stop making websites at all. I don't think it's that sort of binary switch. There's something really interesting in there, and you can see that it's got some sort of transformational properties, kind of like the web has. And in the past few years, and especially since I've become a father, you start to really think a lot about the future and about the environment your children are going to be in. And it struck me that we've become really wasteful, and that the way that we manufacture things isn't necessarily the best way forward, and there might be other ways. And so, this in some ways, the stuff to do with 3D printing is a way of exploring some of that. But the key thing for me is a lot about the intergenerational stuff, because the knowledge, like the centuries of knowledge effectively, from the Industrial Revolution up to the point when, sort of the big manufacturing business closed, is all about accumulating knowledge about how to make things. And that knowledge is going to die pretty soon, like literally die. And if it's not passed on to the younger generation for them to sort of mash it up with all of the new stuff around digital and around 3D printing, 3D scanning, and whatever else comes up in the next few years, then we've just lost an opportunity, and it'll be very hard to get it back.